So there are three motor functions of the stomach: the storage of food until it can be processed by the intestines, mixing it with gastric secretions until it forms chyme, and slowing down the emptying of chyme from the stomach into the duodenum. So let's look at the storage of food first. First of all, when the peristaltic wave from the esophagus approaches the stomach, there is receptive relaxation of the stomach wall, which basically means that the stomach relaxes ahead of the time so that it can be ready to receive that food. This receptive relaxation allows the stomach to gradually relax more and more so that it can accommodate more food with a little rise in the intragastric pressure. When there's food in the stomach, there is distension of the stomach wall, and this initiates a vagal reflex. And this reflex reduces the tone in the muscle of the stomach, and this gradually causes relaxation of the stomach wall, allowing it to accommodate more food. And the most important thing to remember is that the storage of food takes place in the body of the stomach and not the fundus, as most people get confused with this. And the maximum storage capacity of the stomach is about 0.8 to 1.5 liter. And you need to remember that the stomach can accommodate more and more food, until it reaches its maximum capacity, which is 1.5 liters. And as long as the volume remains within this limit, the intragastric pressure does not rise. But if the volume of food becomes more than 1.5 liters, then after that, there will be a rise in the intragastric pressure. The next motor function of the stomach is mixing of food, and this is a function of the peristaltic waves. So even though peristalsis propels food in the forwards direction, they are also involved in mixing movements. So first of all, weak peristaltic constrictor waves begin from the upper part of the stomach, and they move towards the stomach antrum about once every 15 to 20 seconds. And these waves are initiated by the slow waves or the basic electrical rhythm, and these are spontaneous waves. So as these waves sweep down the length of the stomach, they become progressively stronger as they reach the stomach antrum. Waves become stronger as they reach the stomach antrum because you already know at the pylorus, the muscle is thickened to form the pyloric sphincter. And as these waves reach the pylorus, they will force the contents in the antrum under high pressure towards the pylorus. And when this pyloric muscle contracts, it will squeeze the antral contents backwards. Okay, let me explain that again. So the waves are forcing the antral contents under high pressure towards the pylorus, but the pyloric muscle it was stimulated and then it contracted, right? So it won't propel all of this food into the duodenum. Instead, this food will be pushed backwards. This food will be pushed backwards to the body of the stomach, and this is called retropulsion. So basically, mixing is happening because the chyme is being pushed forwards and backwards, with each peristaltic contraction that reaches the antrum. The third motor function is the emptying of the stomach. Okay, so the emptying of the stomach depends upon two factors: the pyloric pump and the tone in the pyloric sphincter. So the pyloric pump basically means the strong peristaltic contractions that occur in the antrum, which promote stomach emptying. So as you know, that peristaltic waves were causing mixing, and they also promote stomach emptying. When these peristaltic waves become very strong in the mid part of the stomach, they spread down the stomach and cause strong peristaltic contractions in the antrum. And as the stomach becomes more empty, these constrictions they will begin further up the body of the stomach, and this will help to pinch off any food from the body of the stomach and then force it towards the pylorus. Secondly, the tone in the pyloric sphincter is influenced by signals coming from both the stomach and the duodenum. Okay, so there are two basic factors that regulate stomach emptying: the gastric factors that promote gastric emptying and the duodenal factors that inhibit stomach emptying. So the gastric factors are the gastric food volume and the hormone gastrin. So when there's an increase in the volume of food in the stomach, there's obviously distension of the stomach, and this initiates local myenteric reflexes as well as vagal reflexes. And these reflexes will increase the activity of the pyloric pump, and which basically means they will increase the peristaltic contractions, especially in the antrum, which will promote stomach emptying. Okay, so they'll increase the activity of the pyloric pump and decrease the tone in the pyloric sphincter. Basically, they will relax the pyloric sphincter to promote gastric emptying. Secondly, the hormone gastrin is secreted from the G cells of the stomach antrum, and there are many stimuli for gastrin secretion, like distension of the stomach, the presence of protein, breakdown products of proteins. So the gastrin also has the same effect. It will increase the activity of the pyloric pump and decrease the tone in the pyloric sphincter. Next comes the duodenal factors, which inhibit gastric emptying. So in this we have the anterior gastric reflex and some duodenal hormones. The anterior gastric reflex is basically signals from the intestines, both small and large intestine. They inhibit stomach motility as well as stomach secretion. So the anterior gastric reflex from the duodenum can be initiated by the distension of the duodenum, irritation of the duodenum, the presence of acidic chyme, hyperosmolar chyme, the presence of protein and fat breakdown products, and these signals will inhibit stomach motility. There are many hormones that are secreted by the duodenum which can inhibit stomach motility, and these include secretin, cholecystokinin, and gastric inhibitory peptide. So these duodenal factors have the opposite effect. They inhibit the pyloric pump and they increase the tone of the pyloric sphincter, which inhibits gastric emptying.